Hello there, so in this video we're going to take a look at this blue whale skeleton set by Nanoblocks and ask the question, is Nanoblocks better than Lego? So I actually received this and another Nanoblock set at Christmas as a present from my girlfriend. Yes, again, I do have a girlfriend. Can't believe I have to kind of confirm that every time I say it, but yes, I have, and she bought me these. Take a breath. And I thought it would be quite good, because I've done a few videos like this in the past where I've compared things like Creo and Kobe to real Lego. I thought, let's have a look at Nanoblocks and see how it compares. So I'm going to compare it in terms of price, in terms of the things that come with it, like the instructions, the box, that sort of thing, the model itself, the building experience, the kind of collecting experience. What is it like compared to Lego, and should you buy Nanoblocks? So let's firstly start with the price. Well, obviously I don't know how much this cost because it was a gift from my girlfriend, but I have looked it up, which is a little bit naughty, I know. I think this set is actually discontinued, but you can buy it now for about £12 from eBay. That doesn't really tell you whether or not that's good value for money, but just to give you an idea, this actually has 380 pieces in it. Now, as the name Nanoblocks suggests, the pieces are very, very, very tiny. So you're getting less ABS plastic for your money, but you are getting a fair amount of parts. Now, I think by comparison, if you were to get a Lego set with 380 parts, there is no way that it would cost £12. So certainly in terms of the number of bricks you get, this Nanoblock set is excellent value for money. Now, looking at the box artwork itself, you can see this is actually a blue whale skeleton. I think, and no offence to my girlfriend here, but the box artwork is a little bit drab. Looks like a piece of word processing software or something from a distance. Just a little bit naff. Nanoblocks is actually owned by or created by a company called Kawada, which is actually Japanese. I've got a Japanese car. This is Japanese. I don't know where I'm going with that, but it's Japanese. But interestingly, it's got Chinese text rather than Japanese text at the top. Now, inside the box, there were a huge number of plastic bags. Now, I know Lego wraps their things in plastic bags as well, but given how small these little building block parts are, it seems a little bit excessive to have quite so many plastic bags. So it's a small environmental issue, but please, Kawada and Nanoblocks, please consider using fewer plastic bags. Now, the instructions don't come in a booklet, they actually come in a fold-outable sheet like this, which is exceptionally well printed, but a little bit of a pain because you have to have the space to lay down this great big sheet of instructions. Now, the instruction style is vastly different to the Lego style in that they kind of have these large instructions where they break down the composite parts of the instruction, so you get several instructions within an instruction, if that makes sense. There's the sort of standard Lego thing of having the list of parts that you need for that instruction. In terms of easiness to follow, initially I was going to say that this is virtually impossible to follow. This build in total took me about an hour and a half to complete, but half an hour of that was the first instruction because I went to follow it, made a tiny mistake, not allowing me to finish part one. So I had to take it all apart and rebuild it again. But actually, after the first set of instructions, I did get into a bit of a rhythm and found them very easy to follow, as easy as Lego instructions. Now, I do this with a Lego set as well, but I've got a little bit of a habit of jumping ahead a few instructions. If I see an instruction further on that's kind of, you know, independent, you have to make something separate that you then add to the main model, I sometimes jump ahead and make that so that I can skip that step later on. Am I the only person that does that? Am I just weird? So the build itself is a completely different experience to building a Lego set. And you can see the build on the screen now. it is much, much more fiddly. In fact, because these pieces are absolutely minute. The smallest part is 4 by 4 by 5 millimeters, probably a fraction of a 1 by 1 plate brick, to be honest. Very tiny. And what that means is that actually putting these tiny little models together is really difficult, nigh on impossible, if you've got fat fingers. So if you've got fat fingers, probably don't waste your time with nanoblocks. That's my advice. Now obviously, because of the size of these bricks, because they are so small, nanoblocks, even more than Lego, is not a toy for small kids. This is not something at all that you would want kids to put in their mouth. Otherwise they could swallow it and it could be very dangerous. It says here 0 to 3 sad onions. I'm obviously not a toy regulator, but I wouldn't give this to, well, I wouldn't give it to a kid at all. Now when I was putting the model together, I found it was quite difficult actually to get the little parts to kind of line up perfectly. As it happens, when you're building a skeleton of a whale, you know, and you can't get the ribs on the skeleton really, really straight, is actually not a bad thing, because the skeleton wouldn't be really, really straight and perfect. So it kind of worked to my advantage that I'm crap at building the set. But actually, it's strangely relaxing to have to be so delicate with the model, because if you were as rough putting this together as you would be with a Lego set where the parts are much bigger and more robust, you would just destroy the model. You'd just explode it. And there were a couple of times when I pushed some parts together and they flung off and I had to put them back together again. Although I was a little bit skeptical at first because I didn't enjoy the very first instruction, you do actually get used to it, and it's a little bit of a change from making a Lego set. So I did actually enjoy it. And the completed model that you can see, actually, I think the box artwork on this doesn't do it justice. I think the model actually looks a lot better than it does here. This skeleton's got articulated flipper bones, but that's really about it. It's just very delicate. Touch it too much and it will fall apart. So these models really are for displaying, not for playing, which is, I guess, another crucial difference between nanoblocks and real Lego, because real Lego tends to have more of a play value associated with it. I will leave a link to this on eBay down below in case you're interested in checking it out for yourself. But if you're not interested in a blue whale skeleton, let me just have a cup of coffee. Nanoblocks actually, or nanoblock as it's called, I'm going to keep calling it nanoblocks, they've actually got a huge range of items. Like literally anything you can think of, you can make it out of nanoblocks. Again, they're all for sort of display purposes. Don't think you're going to get a car or something that you can roll along. It's mainly sort of animals, buildings, that sort of thing. Have a look for yourself. There appears to be another sort of alternative, cheaper brand which maybe rips off nanoblocks a bit, called Loz, so maybe steer clear of them. And, you know, I think possibly, dare I say it, I think the range of items that Nanoblocks makes is much bigger than Legos. Maybe they're not really comparable, and that really brings me on to, you know, is Nanoblocks better than Lego? I wouldn't go as far to say as it's better than Lego. I'd say it's different to Lego, and if you like Lego, you probably like Nanoblocks. You may even want to collect Nanoblocks in parallel to Lego. One doesn't really take away from the other. I'm certain of that more than any of the sets I've made, because ultimately Nanoblocks isn't even compatible with Lego bricks because they're a fraction of the size. I don't think Nanoblocks is something I would want to build if I was maybe really, really stressed, because I think an exploding model when you use your big fat fingers and smash the model up could drive you a little bit crazy, but it's definitely something that I will give more thought to in the future. Anyway, that's just a quick review of Nanoblocks and this set. I hope you enjoyed it. Have you built a Nanoblock set? What do you think? Do you think they're good value for money, and would you recommend them to a friend? Let me know. Anyway, thank you to my loyal Patreons who are scrolling down the screen now, and a special thanks to Jennifer Jones, Jim McCaig, Magnanimous Meg and George Foot, who are very generous Patreons. Thank you very much for your support. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time for another video.